Hello again. So happy to be with you and to be sharing this weekly content. And also want to put in a plug for our upcoming live event. It's coming really soon. And I want you to be there because I share a very personal story at the live event about how I have integrated all of the work we've done so far and made profound and life-changing transformation in my own personal life. And I'll be sharing that at the live event. So be sure to be with us for that. So let's get going with this week's content. We are the Empowered Women's Circle, and we are here to strengthen your body, elevate your mind, and nurture your soul, a wellness movement for women. And just to be sure you understand, if you have any concerns about a physical or mental health condition, make sure you see your own healthcare provider. We can provide lots of guidance for you, and we'll do so along the way. But if you have really specific concerns, make sure you're seeing your own provider. Don't forget to visit our homepage. All of the information you need to find out who we are and what we're all about is there, as well as how to get started, get going. Make sure that you understand how to get yourself actively involved with our process. We have shared agreements listed on that homepage, but essentially we are just an inclusive, accepting, loving group of women that want you to be part of our circle. And we want, as women, to be showing up fully 100% in our power and responsible for our own well-being. And that's how we come into this circle so that we can elevate the entire group. We've been working a long time now on identifying your soul's actualization needs and the ways to do that, and how important it is to be still and be silent and be truly in touch with who you are, what you bring as your core values, and what is already in transformation and blossoming up inside of you. So be really clear about what you want to create in your life. And this could be in any area of your life. And be ready for challenges. We've talked about this. The barriers to what you are trying to achieve and create are within you. So this is where we talk about the glass ceiling, the very idea that we limit ourselves by the way we're showing up, by the way we're making decisions, by the way we're sinking back into smallness and into weakness. And if we can truly understand that we are limiting ourselves and that the barriers and obstructions that are creating a habit pattern that is just not allowing us to have forward momentum and success in that specific area of life, then we can shift that. We can understand where it's coming from inside of us, and we can make that transformative shift. So remembering that your thoughts become emotions, which become your actions, and that adjusting. And I don't just mean like changing thoughts, but really understanding the underlying belief that is creating those thoughts, that is creating that self-dialogue, that is creating that negative self-talk. And we have dug very deep into understanding that we have formed beliefs about ourselves at a time in our life when we didn't have the meaning-making capacity that we now have as powerful, adult, confident, competent, resourceful women. And when you make meaning at a younger age about your value in the world, you carry that with you. And that is often the point that we use to make our decisions. And if we can instead step into our power and make decisions from that new place of knowing that false belief and that negative self-talk is coming, and we don't have to push it away, that we can just understand where it's coming from, and we can soothe it, and we can have self-compassion for knowing that all of those meanings and all of those beliefs were created out of necessity, out of knowing that we needed that old story in order to survive at a different time in life. But now it's go time. Now it is time for us to understand that we have the power, the confidence, the wisdom, the intelligence, the capacity, the capability to step into a new way of showing up, and to not get rid of the old story, which is often what people will say. Well, just change the way you're thinking. Just shift your talk from negative to positive. That doesn't work, or at least it hasn't worked for me and a lot of people I've worked with. We don't want to just block it. We want to understand where it's coming from, and we want to provide compassion and understanding and love for that part of ourselves that is showing up and often stopping us on our path forward. And we've dug into that, and we've had some exercises around knowing that that younger part of us is okay, and that we can turn to that younger part of us and soothe and provide love and compassion for that younger part of us anytime she starts to show up. And when we are able to see where she's coming from and to understand why she feels the way she does, then we can shift and we can realize the deeper truth of our power and strength and show up differently. And when we show up differently and we action differently, people will respond differently to us. So our life is a reflection of who we are being, not necessarily who we are, but who we are being. And that is a really exciting fact, because we can go out into the world and be the person that we want to be, and be the person that we know we would be if we had all of the things that we define as success. So we want to be the change, I think, is what Gandhi once said. We want to be the person that would ultimately have the life that we're trying to create. And then others will respond as if we're already there. So change who you are being, and life will become a new reflection of the new you. So this week, that was sort of a recap, and a very in-depth recap. But this week, I want you to create a power statement. So we've gone through the power, the exercise of stepping into your golden ring of power. And you can go back and do that exercise. In fact, I do it most nights, actually. It's a good meditation for me and a good reminder for me. But this week is a little different. You can do that exercise repeatedly, but what I want you to create is a power statement. So at the live event, I'm going to share for you how I created my power statement. And so I won't get into it now, but essentially it's the piece that comes up for you when you realize that you do have the confidence, capacity, capability to deal with something. And it's going to be different for everybody, but it's that one statement that brings you back to knowing that you're not in your old story, that you need to see what is happening in front of you from that new perspective, and that feminine power, or that new shift in power from where you are now sourcing your power from. And the power statement could be anything. It could be aligned with your connection to the divine. It could be aligned with your religious and your spiritual connection. It could be something in relation to a prayer that you often say, but really something very fierce and something very powerful that will bring you back to the knowing that you can manage, that you have what it takes to deal with the situation that is in front of you. And I'm going to share again at the live event how I developed my own power statement. And it changes depending on the circumstance and the area of life that you're currently working on. This is a living process. But my power statement in the story that I'm going to share at the live event is, I've got this. And I use it a lot when I feel overwhelmed, when I feel like I'm not coping or I'm not capable of something, when I start to feel like my false belief personally for me is I'm a failure. So if I start to sink into feeling like I'm failing, that is for me, the worst possible, deepest place to sink, because I never ever wanted to fail at anything. Of course, nobody does. But for me, if I start to feel like a failure, I start to feel unloved and unworthy, then I immediately recognize that and I shift into, hey, I got this. And for me, that power statement is very effective. And I'm not saying it's the only power statement I have, but I'm just giving you an example of when I'm trying to work on an area that has me feeling a little overwhelmed, I remind myself, I got this. And your power statement could be something that you stick on your mirror, on your fridge, somewhere that just brings you back to that firm grounding that you are being supported and that there is a deeper intelligence to life, and that you've got this, and that you have the support around you to do what needs to be done in this situation. Remember your deeper truth of your power and your confidence and your competence, and that statement. So for me, that statement, "I've got this," really helps bring me back to the moment. And every time some uncomfortable emotion comes up for you, that's the time to recognize that you need your power statement. I'm going to go into much greater detail about this at the live event. I really want you there and sharing with our community of women. And record your thoughts often. So as you go through this exercise with an area of your life, you can't expect to be perfect right away. It's going to take some iterations of realizing the emotion is coming up and realizing how you're showing up and realizing the thought and the belief behind that emotion, that discomfort. And as you go through that shift multiple times, because the emotion is going to keep coming up until you make the shift stick, then record your thoughts and learn from your process, and realize each time you do this, and each time you maybe don't do it perfectly or successfully, or each time you try and fail, it's a learning process, and that's what this is all about. I have a program that I walk clients through this process, and then this is really just the first step. It's very exciting because this is just the first step in that transformative work that we can ultimately step out into a whole new life with a whole new set of goals and objectives and a whole new level of success, whatever that means for each individual. And so this is the work I do with clients, and you've been through now the first step of that. And again, it's a living process. So we're going to shift gears and talk about your mind and your body now. And we've been working on getting better sleep. So I am going to head on over to what April and Marcia have been telling us. Now from April, she's continuing to give us better tips for better sleep. And this week she is talking about using white noise for sleep. Very, very valuable. There's nothing better than waking up after a great night's sleep feeling refreshed and ready to tackle the day. And there are so many benefits to a good night's sleep in addition to feeling rejuvenated. It's a great way to keep your heart healthy, reduce stress, ward off depression. Do you notice as you get older that it's tougher to achieve a good night's sleep? I know that I do. According to the National Institute of Health, older adults who don't sleep well at night are more likely to have problems with memory and attention. Of course, that makes perfect sense. This applies to the younger and middle-aged generations as well. And typically the most beneficial sleep each night is linked to getting 7 to 8 hours in length. If you need more than that, that's okay too. So how do you get that rest with all the disturbances from outside noise? A very simple solution is to use some kind of white noise to achieve this goal. April tells us that many people find nature sounds like rainfall or ocean waves to be more relaxing than white noise like a fan. So whatever works for you. The repetitive, consistent sound is easy for the brain to ignore, but very effective for drowning out the neighbor's dog that's barking, the noisy car going down the street, etc. A word of caution when choosing the best fit for you: do not choose an ocean sound that has intermittent bird calls or foghorns. I've done that actually, which can disrupt your sleep when you least expect it. Another suggestion she has is to use essential oils such as lavender, cedar wood, or serenity blend. Oh, that sounds lovely. To help the body get into that restful sleep. The sleep strips from ID Life provide an easy way to achieve that healing sleep that we all need as well. So if you're struggling to sleep, you can definitely see April because she's got lots of supportive ideas for you. So ID Life sleep strips, of course, we've talked about those. They are triphasic with a little bit of melatonin just to help you get to sleep. So if melatonin doesn't work for you, then these sleep strips may very well still work, because the melatonin is just a little bit initially to get you to sleep. And then 5-HTP kicks in, which is a serotonin precursor, and then L-theanine, which is a calming amino acid. And that triphasic approach helps you get to sleep, stay asleep, and then wake up refreshed and feeling ready for your day. Now, for Marcia, she wants to finish up this week talking about nutrition and a little bit more about appetite awareness. So we talked about the importance of sleep to get your hunger hormones regulated and keep your mental and physical energy up so you can make better food choices. And then last week, Marcia talked about eating slowly and mindfully so that we allow our body time to be aware of how full we are while we eat. And this week, Marcia wants to expand on this concept for anyone who's trying to lose weight. So if you've been practicing eating slowly, you are in a great position to start thinking about eating to 80% full. This is an important habit if you are wanting to lose some pounds, because in the end, we're still looking for a calorie deficit in order to shed weight. So taking in less calories than we're putting out. And more movement in your week burns more calories, so that can also make you hungrier. So you have to be aware of your hunger cues and get to know your body. You can only do this if you eat slowly. 80% full should feel like you are satisfied, but you could still eat a little more without getting completely stuffed. Practice this habit if you're looking for weight loss. So there's also, of course, ID Life has multiple products and consumables available, and one of their products is called Lean, and it's a tablet that you would take several times a day. The directions are sort of individualized, but they're also available. And you would take that tablet, and what it does is it increases metabolism and therefore burns more fat, and it also helps lay down lean muscle. So athletes will use this in order, just before they work out, about an hour before working out, in order to create more muscle development, but it also increases metabolism and helps with fat burning. And this Lean tablet, although it's not a prescription weight loss and it's very, very safe, it's a natural product, it actually works to drop percentages of body fat. I know that because I've tried it, and it actually works to reduce blood sugar so that there's less cravings, and it increases metabolism so that you have more fat burning. ID Life also has an appetite suppressant chew. So it's a little chew that you can take kind of as a snack mid-afternoon if you're getting some cravings, which again, all natural product, very safe. There's nothing dangerous in this, as there are in some weight loss products that you might buy. You need to be very careful about that. But the appetite suppressant really just reduces cravings and gets you feeling like you're not quite so hungry so that you don't have to have a big snack. As far as movement, Marcia says we've worked our way up to scheduling and doing 3 sessions of 15 to 30 minutes of activity each week. We're putting this time in our calendar and looking for new and different ways to challenge our bodies. And we've wrapped up the last couple of weeks with our discussion of recovery from this movement. So, basic recovery methods that everyone should be doing are fueling the body with good nutrients, making sure that you're getting your nutritional program, and also having lean protein at every meal. So that's really important. And also we talked about having high protein snacks, staying hydrated, getting good sleep. All of that sounds a lot like the nutrition tips that Marcia has been chatting about. Last week, Marcia gave us information about supplementing with branched chain amino acids, and she actually dug into the science of that for us, which was really cool. And this is something, if this is something you would like to try, then branched chain amino acids are available in many products. Marcia can definitely guide you, but ID Life has a pre and post workout line, which provides a lot of those essential nutrients, amino acids, electrolytes, and then the branched chain amino acids that Marcia has been talking about. There are many ways to recover from your exercise program. First, if you have 3 workouts that are somewhat intense, one thing that's great for your body is an extra day of low impact movement, such as walking. She wants to encourage you to join us for our Saturday movement in the park. We often have a group, and we will sometimes simply have a group that walks around, and that is a fantastic way to get your body moving and to enjoy nature and to have some fun chatting with some new people and some conversation. So other forms of physical recovery would involve stretches, foam rolling, or even therapeutic or deep tissue massage. So Marcia wants to emphasize, really important, you can't change everything at once. So making sure that we are going in a very slow, stepwise process. This approach that we've taken you through week to week has really been very gentle in the way we've had simple calls to action each week on the nutrition side and on the physical movement side. This approach often leads to failure if you're trying to do too much at once, because you become overwhelmed and then you just give up. So Marcia likes to focus on improving one aspect of your nutrition or one aspect of your movement at a time. So if you aren't getting everything done perfectly, don't worry, because we are going to recycle through the movement and the nutrition tips, making sure that you consolidate those. And you'll be able to get better and better at it as we have our ongoing circle of support. And we, as leaders, will get better and better at it as well. Of course, we're on this journey with you. Remember, these tips are a starting point, and there are so many other parts to the equation, eating and moving well. And if you want more information, definitely get in touch with Marcia. She has a personalized coaching program, and she can personalize her guidance to your particular lifestyle, which would make it even easier to integrate into your lifestyle if you get that personal attention. So let's have a look at Days for Girls. Remember, we told you that with Days for Girls, we're serving others, and it's a very powerful tool for healing ourselves. So when we realize the gratitude of what we have in our life and the ability of us to extend that love and generosity and our resources in terms of our time, our energy, financial resources, even things we have laying at home, it's such a rewarding process and such a healing process for us as women to be able to do that for other women. And so Days for Girls is an international outreach organization, creates feminine hygiene kits for women and girls in underdeveloped and economically challenged communities. Carolina Batris, our wellness leader extraordinaire, has asked us to donate non-white panties, dark flannel material, or colorful printed fabric for quilting. And 100% of cash donations will go to good use. There's no administrative costs here. Carolina is ensuring that every moment of our time and energy and every dollar that we give is going to the right people. And making sure that you are involved, engaged. We are so happy to have you in our circle. We look forward to seeing you at the live event, which is next week. If you can't make it locally, please tune in virtually. We have a Facebook page, a Facebook group, and our Saturday events in the park. They're not always Saturday, but they seem to have been falling mostly on Saturdays, so we hope to see you there. We have sister circles cropping up as well. If you want to be a wellness leader in your own community and form a sister circle alongside us and our other global sister circles, please let me know. Until I see you again, let your light shine. So wonderful to be with you. Bye-bye.